So when I started doing research at the Huntington, the first thing that struck me was, and I think the igniter of a lot of this research is, there's a file cabinet in front of the botanical garden library, in front of the botanical library. It's just a file cabinet of all the plants that weren't successfully migrated and integrated into the Huntington. So there's over 100,000 plants that have been moved and attempted to cultivate here, but didn't seed or take root or weren't able to grow. Conversely, there's thousands of species of plants that are around the Huntington and on the grounds that are native invasive species or that have traveled or migrated with other plants. And that, is also an unmarked or uncategorized or unmapped kind of like system in the garden. So I think, my first inclination when I got here and started doing research was that file cabinet. I think specifically because of how haptically visual that cabinet was as well. It was like, those kind of old library cards with the plant's name and genus and its origin, and then a dead stamp. And one of the collages is actually a collage of Henry Huntington sitting in the gazebo for the Rose Garden. And I've kind of collaged him into this Goya painting of Kronos eating Saturn, and just sort of thinking about this devouring of the natural world and this regurgitation of it into ordered squares, right? Like these squares that are also predestined sort of to implode because they aren't phenomenologically natural. And I remember also this kind of moment right after the lockdown started of, feeling like the natural world got a break. And that was also a really good moment to be reading a lot about this, this migration of plants that's happened for centuries and the slave trade that, has happened right alongside it. And sort of putting, again, another kind of life into the equation to deal with structural racism, structural oppression, and to, have, I think in a way for black bodies, indigenous bodies, that same tactic and haptic awareness of like the visual power of plants and the actual energetic power of plants and that life that resists constantly. It's going to resist or it's going to fade, I think that's what's beautiful about the plant is that, it goes away if it's not fed, if it's not nurtured.